Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hi everyone, welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Sarah.
And today is the first in a recurring series where we're going to be talking about a theme rather than a place or an event. And the first theme that we got for you is green travel. This was kind of interesting because a lot of people see green travel as really just about backpacking, buying some carbon offset credits, and you're good to go. But it actually has a broader definition, doesn't it?
Yes, and more than 1 billion tourists travel the globe every year, and
that's a lot.
That makes a huge impact on the environment. And you don't have to sacrifice your comforts to be a green traveler. You don't have to stay in the jungle. You don't have to backpack.
Yeah.
What you have to do is just make the right choices to minimize your impact on the environment. But you also have to make choices to respect the local people of the places that you're going to visit.
Exactly. And one place where you can really make a big impact is in air travel. Some people estimate that air traffic accounts for about 10% of the greenhouse gases worldwide, which is an enormous figure.
But an easy way to cut back on your contribution is to fly nonstop if you can. Taking off and landing is where a lot of the fuel is burned in air flight. So if you go nonstop, then you cut back a lot of what you're contributing in flight.
Exactly. And also pack light, because the heavier the luggage is, that also contributes to the consumption of fuel. So just packing a lighter suitcase, leave that big old guidebook at home. You can just rip out the pages that you need or use your smartphone for all the information.
Once you get to your location, avoid renting a car if possible. I know sometimes you have to, but if you have to rent a car, rent a hybrid if they have it. If they don't have a hybrid, rent a compact car. We actually recommend, though, taking the walking and biking tours, using public transportation, or utilize your hotel van if they have one.
Speaking of hotels, that's an area where there's just a lot of energy consumption between the changing of the linens and the towels every day.
Cranking your AC.
Exactly. You're like, I paid for it, so I'm going to keep that thing going all the time, even when I'm not there. So obviously there are a lot of ways that you can conserve.
Sure. Start by telling the hotel that you want to conserve. Tell them you don't need the fresh soap every day. You don't need your linens changed.
Right. Just the room clean, but they don't need to do all the laundry.
Yeah. So it's simple. Also, choose a hotel that's locally owned. That goes back to the idea where you're respecting the local community. Or at the very least, choose a hotel that hires locals. That, again, goes back to giving back to the community.
Right. Looking at green in a kind of holistic way. And speaking of local, one of the things that you really want to look for is buying goods locally that were actually made there, as opposed to coming from China or someplace like that. Because first of all, you have that whole fuel use of bringing
to have the products imported from China.
Exactly.
Sure.
And you're supporting local economy by buying local goods
and local people. Sure.
And local people. And you also want to make sure that you're not buying goods that are made with endangered animals or plants for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, sure. And when you're buying these products, I know a lot of these are at outdoor markets where bargaining is normal, but don't be overly aggressive in bargaining. Don't cross the line where it becomes sort of an insult. Make sure that you walk away with a fair deal, but also the person you're buying from gets a fair deal as well.
And finally, we couldn't leave our little discussion about green travel without talking about offsetting your carbon footprint, because that is what people always think of when they think of green travel.
And it's actually really simple, and it's not expensive. You're not going to pay $1,000 to offset your footprint from your trip. It's just as simple as buying a credit that goes to negate your carbon footprint, and the money goes toward programs that support conservation, renewable energy, and other energy saving projects.
And a lot of people look for projects and programs that plant a tree for you. What we learned is that that's really not the best thing to look for. You would be better off looking for projects that focus on energy efficiency and renewable energy.
Yeah, the projects that have an immediate effect. We love planting trees, don't get us wrong, but trees take a long time to grow and they don't have an immediate effect. So look for projects that are making a difference right now.
Exactly.
And you can also look for a couple of different seals of approval. One is the Verified Carbon Standard, and the other is the Gold Standard. And if they have either one of these standards, then you can pretty much feel comfortable that you're giving your money to a program that is doing very good things.
And they have their own websites where they have programs that they recommend.
Absolutely. So you can go to either one of their websites and see what they recommend, and when you find a program that you like, you can see what they're doing with your money as well.
That wraps up our green travel tour. If you've got any tips on green travel that you love, why don't you post them on our Facebook page? We'd love to know what they are.
And we'll have some more links and information on our blog, and you can find out the address at the end of the podcast and find out how to follow us on Twitter as well.
We'll see you next time on the coolest stuff on the planet.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.